Holy crap. Did you see that while I was in the air? Did you see that hit they took? I think we may have solved the issue behind that whole Ikaros set gimmick. And we may even be able to take flight. Look at how they're all poisoned. Damage on one affected damage on all of them. Let me gather them up again. This was actually pretty cool. I can escape. In fact, I don't need to escape. I just need to go around in circles around you. Alright, almost there. The cooldown is annoying. Alright, here we go. And aim for the head. Pretty massive damage, but... There we go. We kind of have the damage spreading to everybody with a specific item, a specific ability, along with poisoning the group. I'm Darkstrider, the YouTube Assassin, and we may be able to take flight with the Ikaros set. Let's check this out. So as I said before, this was initially a fire build because with all these like burning feathers and everything like that on both the costume and the horse, it just screams fire build. A lot of the stuff here just looked like it would just do well as a fire build, but that wasn't meant to be. So we switched a couple of things around, a couple of engravings and a couple of weapons. So for starters, I'd have the Atlantean blade. As you can see, 25% hunter damage, 50% crit damage, 30% armor penetration, which gets deep under the skin of our enemies. We need it. I continue to add 100% damage, but health cap to 25%. Again, you don't need to do that if it's something that you're wary of. Me personally, I like to use it because I really do enjoy having that extra damage, so that's why I added on most of my builds. But you know, you may want to add hunter damage or some sort of crit chance, crit damage, depending on your preference. Going over, we have the Harp of Perseus, excuse me, 25% hunter damage, 50% crit damage, 25% countdown duration for all abilities, minus 25%. That's going to be big when we're trying to get our abilities going. We want them, you know, just reduced quickly. We want them reduced fast. So this one I added 40% damage with bows when above target. Now this doesn't just have to be when you launch yourself into the air. This is anytime you're above target. This is, you could be anywhere. You could be on top of a rooftop, on top of a outcropping, whatever, as long as you're above the target. That's where that 40% damage comes from. Moving along, the Pitome, that's the legendary bow. That's the bow that comes with the set. And it has 25% hunter damage, 10% crit chance, 25% crit chance of Rain of Destruction ability. Now that's something else that like I actually try to like go with. I wanted to see if I'm able to get more damage with the Rain of Destruction ability, but really, it really wasn't working out. So I said, okay, we'll skip that. That'll be just on this one piece. I added basic arrows damage applies to nearby enemies. So instead of using any sort of poison arrows or fire arrows, we're using just the basic arrows. And that is in the beginning of the video where you saw me hit one guy and like 5 guys got hit. It actually works really, really well. So that's why I went with that. Now, the armor, as we all know, the complete set, it has 100% damage while in midair. So that was the gimmick that we were really trying to work out. I really do feel that this would kind of be better suited with an epic build, because with an epic build you could actually add a couple of more things to it, which would probably make it a little bit better than even this. And I think I'm going to concentrate on making an epic build because I'm really interested in some of the stuff that is on a lot of this hunter gear. Not just this one, but the Artemis gear, and there were a couple of other hunter gears that I was looking at that I'm kind of interested in, and kind of working something out with. Anyway, the mask itself, 25% hunter damage, 50% crit damage. We put 50% headshot damage. Always want to aim for the head. That's how you get the absolute best damage. Going over to the bracers, 25% hunter damage, 50% adrenaline on headshot kill. We definitely want that adrenaline on the headshot kill, especially since you're going to kill with headshots, hopefully. 10% crit chance with hunter abilities. That kind of increases our chances of getting those kind of criticals with anything involving a hunter ability. Most of what you're going to be doing is going to be hunter abilities. Going down to the harness, 25% hunter damage, 50% elemental buildup, and vanish ability intoxicates enemies is what I added. Now, when you see me leap into the air, the vanish ability is what's causing us to leap into the air, and it's going to poison any enemies that are around you for major damage. The elemental buildup helps with that damage, so that's why I kind of added that. It just seemed really kind of like a good idea, being that right away they become poison, and then while we're aiming down, the basic arrow's damage applies to nearby enemies. So I shoot one guy in the head, not only is he poisoned and now bleeding to death out of his skull, anybody else who's around him, as you saw, it applied to. So you saw like that little yellow circle in the beginning of the video. That was kind of like the danger zone. When I hit one guy in the head, anybody that was in that circle was also getting hit in the head. Going over to the belt, 25% hunter damage, 50% headshot damage, plus 5% crit chance, and 25% crit damage while full health. We're going to try to stay full health. Really, when you're doing these kind of builds, you really do want to maintain your health. It may be hard being a hunter that is kind of in your face like I'm doing here, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Going down to the feet, 25% hunter damage, 20% damage with bow charge shot, 30% damage with bows while hidden. Now, if you're going to be like a traditional kind of hunter and you're just going to like hide in the bushes and whatnot and just keep shooting, that is going to help you out. For this build, you may even want to just go with more crit chance or crit damage or hunter damage. That may help improve the build. Now, going over to the abilities that you're definitely going to want, like over in the Assassin, you're definitely going to want one, at least one point in Venomous Attacks, so that way you could open up 3 here, which is going to help out with the poison as you're leaping into the air. You're also going to want the Vanish ability, which every time you use Vanish, it will poison the enemies now with the engraving that we have. And if you have Chronos Time Shift, which is going to be from the Atlantis DLC, as you can see, you'll leap into the air, and then as you're leaping, you'll also poison them. Time stops while you're up in the sky, and you're able to just like shoot the guys in the head, do whatever you've got to do there. All right. We really don't need Shadow Assassin, Rush Assassinate, Critical Assassination, or Stealth Master. Okay. Kronos' Time Warp, I kind of added this slow time cross Kronos' Time Warp, only because, as you can see, slow time for 5 seconds, headshots performed during this time, extend the duration by 2.5 seconds, and increase headshot damage by 125%. Ability wears off after 5 headshots. So, as you're shooting the people in the head, time is slowed down. It adds a couple of more seconds to this time being slowed down, and it gives you extra headshot damage. So that's going to be phenomenal. And then the thing is that if you have the ability where the damage applies, the basic arrow damage applies to enemies nearby, they're getting that, like if they're getting headshot damage as well. So it's just like a crazy kind of setup. Now, I like to add Hero Strike to a bunch of my builds only because I like to have that extra hit. I like to be able to like swap people out of the way just in case, like if I'm running or something like that. But this is entirely up to you. Okay? Kronos' Punishment, also known as Coil to Arms, as it's originally known, that this really isn't necessary, but you do want to make sure you have Vanish / Kronos' Time Shift. You don't really need any of the other items that are here. Over in Warrior, you really don't need a lot. You really need Second Wind here, or Ares' Last Breath if you have the upgrade. This is actually going to help you out to keep your health at optimal levels. You definitely don't want to go like real low. That's not what this build is for. You really want to keep your health really well maintained, especially if you catch fire or you're poisoned. This helps wash it off. We definitely want Weapons and Gear Master because this is going to help out. It's going to make us a little less squishy, and it's going to give us a little more smacking power there, you know, as far as the weapons go. As you can see, you know, crit chance with all weapons is by 10%, which is very important. Warrior damage being at 40% is really unnecessary, but it helps you out. And then the same thing with Gear Master. As you can see, armor by 90%, reduce range damage by 10%. Those are kind of things that you kind of need. You want to add that to this build. You really don't need anything else, including flaming attacks or fire mastery, because this is no longer a fire build. We're not going to need that stuff at all. You do want to put one rank into overpowered attacks just so that you have Battle Cry of Ares or the upgraded version Ares Madness. This is actually really going to help you out in case things go south and you got real low health. You do this, you're able to just wipe out all your enemies without any kind of problems. But you do want to keep an eye. It does have like a certain time limit, and after that limit you are vulnerable again. During this time you will not go to 0 health. You will go to 0 health, but it'll come right back up. Archer, this is going to be the bulk of what we want. Actually, Hunter. We actually are going to want Devastating Shot. That's something that I use a lot. Artemis's Trickery is actually going to be pretty cool too. As you can see, it sets up a little circle that acts as a trap. Enemies come near it, they die. Multi-shot, definitely if you're going to go into conquest battles, you will need multi-shot. I highly recommend it. You're really not going to need Beastmaster unless you're doing a build that requires that you have an animal. The same thing with Arrow Master. You're not going to need Arrow Master because you're not going to need any other arrows except basic. But again, that's up to you if you have the extra points. Sixth Sense, hold L2 to snap aim to target. Time slows for up to 8 seconds. You're spotted by enemies. Aimed arrows lock onto target's head and deal 200% hunter damage. This would be excellent, especially if you're at a distance or you're above your target. You might want to consider adding that to your build. This over here, Might of Artemis, also known as Reign of Destruction, this is hit or miss. I mean, if you feel confident that you're able to really do a lot of damage with this, then go for it. I really am not finding a lot of use for this, especially with the weapon. It's just not working out for me, so I ignored it. All right. Rapid fire you might want to use. Archery Master, yes, because as you can see, it increases a lot of the power that you're going to need as you're actually firing off arrows. It's going to be absolutely amazing. As you can see, damage is 40%, headshot damage is 40%. No longer consume normal arrows when using hunter abilities. If an adrenaline sentiment is partially drained, it would refill outside of combat. Slow down time while aiming with a bow in midair. So that's definitely something that you're going to want to add. it really works out in your favor. You'll want to put 1 rank at least in Overpower Bow Strike and 3 in Ghost Arrows of Artemis, because the Ghost Arrows themselves, really, really good. Go through walls, go through buildings, go through people. So you're really going to see that a lot, especially if you're in like a real sticky situation. So make sure you have that as well. As far as our masteries go, for Hunter, you're definitely going to want to add this damage with rapid fire ability, if that's one of the things you so choose. Damage with bows above target, yes, we definitely need that. Health for Tame Beast, no. Hunter damage, that is a no-brainer. We definitely want that. Depending on your gear, you may want to add spears or staffs. Crit chance, crit damage, headshot damage, yes to all 3. All right? Even though this is only 5%, it's still a lot. You'll see a big difference. Make sure you add those. Damage with bow charge shot, yes. Bow charging speed, that cannot hurt. That's going to help you actually quickly knock your arrows, so that way you're able to like fire them off. Damage with bows on distant targets, yes. You're definitely going to want to need that, only because if you are very far away, especially if you're hiding in a bush or whatever, you're definitely going to want to be able to like shoot these guys at a distance and do major damage. Damage on animals, if you have some extra points and you think you're going to be fighting a lot of animals, yeah, other than that, I'd save it. Range resistance, yes. Elemental buildup, yes. Range resistance, obviously, if we're being attacked by archers, we want to not be as squishy. Elemental buildup, only because we have that poison. We definitely want to build that up. We want to have like a lot of just cancerous damage against these guys. So definitely have that. Adrenaline on headshot kill, yes. You're going to use up a lot of adrenaline, and just gaining more adrenaline is not going to hurt at all. You're definitely going to want that. Damage for Tame Beast, no. Chance not to consume special arrows, no, because again, we're going to be using normal arrows. We're not really going to be using, like fire, poison, paralyzing arrows. So you're probably not going to want to use that. Damage with bows while hidden, yes. Damage with hunter abilities, absolutely. Damage with predator shot, not really, unless that's something that you added. Devastating shot, which is what I added, yes. Multi-shot, yes. Spread shot, no. Rain of Destruction, maybe. If you have points to spare, then try that. See if that increases your ability to actually work that out, because that's just one of the things that, for some reason, it's just not strong enough, at least on this build. I'm pretty sure if we had epic gear and we were making an epic build, we'd probably be able to like just rock that out. So that's something that I'm going to try, and I'm going to see if in future videos I could put that together for you. Damage with Ghost Arrows of Artemis ability, because I added it, like I said before, definitely. It's just going to do a lot more damage, and we're definitely going to want that. Going over to Warrior, there's really not a lot of stuff that we're going to want here. Bladed and blunt only if you have those weapons instead of the weapons I have. Crit chance while low health and crit damage while low health. You may want to invest some points there, just in case in the beginning you're finding that you're really squishy and you want to be able to do some major damage. You may want to add that. Damage with overpower abilities only if you're finding that you're using them a lot. I usually don't use them a lot, so I wouldn't put it there, but if you have the points to invest, maybe. Athenian soldiers and Spartan soldiers, yes, if you are doing a lot of conquest battles, okay? Or if you attack one faction over the other more, you may want to add those. Health and armor, absolutely. Melee resistance, absolutely. Only because, obviously, more health, more armor, and anybody who's coming at you with like a club, a spear, anything where they're on the ground and they're attacking you, you want to be able to resist it a little more. You definitely don't want to be as squishy. Armor penetration, we most likely want to add as many points as possible. Again, going through armor and whatnot, especially if you're aiming for the head, you probably want to have this here, okay? Damage per enemy engaged. I usually like to use this because every single enemy that you have engaged, obviously up to 25% is the extra damage that you're going to have against all of them. And if you're using that ability where the basic arrow affects everybody else around, you're going to want all that extra damage to get rid of all the other people that are around. Okay? Damage while low health, if you have the points to invest and you're worried about being, like low health, yeah. Damage dealt restored us health, absolutely. This can only help us out as we're damaging them and, they're just giving us some health back. Health restored with overpower abilities, not really. Damage with warrior, no. And yeah, nothing else here is anything that we want. Going over to assassin, 10% damage whenever time is slowed down, absolutely. You're up in the air, you're in midair, time is slowed down with the whole thing that we got, just like you saw in the beginning of the video. With that time being slowed down, you're going to want this because it's going to do that extra damage. Poison weakening effect, absolutely. It only makes them weaker with that poison as you're leaping up in the air with the vanish ability, being that it just poisons them as you jump up. It's almost like you're just farting and blasting yourself straight up into the air with your evil, nasty butt juices crawling out. So you definitely want to have that there. All right. Going down further, swords and daggers only if you have a sword or dagger in your inventory instead of any of the weapons that I used. You just want to have that extra power just in case while you're battling on ground. 10% crit chance and 50% crit damage while full health. Absolutely to both. You can only go in a positive direction the more crit chance and damage you have. And we want to stay full health. Remember that. We're trying to keep full health. Damage while full health, yes. Again, I just explained that with these two. This is only going to give us extra damage, and you definitely want to have it. Elemental resistance, yes, just in case you get poisoned or catch fire. Poison damage, yes, because as you're blasting yourself off into the sky and poisoning all those below, you definitely want to have that extra damage. Adrenaline per hit and crit, maybe if you have the extra points to invest. I wouldn't go for it right away. Adrenaline assassination kill, no, no, no. Health gain per adrenaline spent, sure, can't hurt. It will increase, like your health and stuff like that, so you definitely want to do that. Damage on elites and bosses, yes, especially if you're in a lot of fortresses and a lot of conquest battles. You're going to be surrounded by elites and bosses. You're going to need that extra damage. Okay? Let's see, no to this. 10% cooldown duration for all abilities, yes. We want that cooldown. We want to be able to get our abilities going as quickly as possible, and just not having them at the right time is not going to be helpful. You can't be running around all the time. You can't be trying to dodge, hide, and everything like that, unless your whole purpose is just to, from the beginning, hide in the bushes. If you're going to be a kind of hunter that gets kind of in your face and is doing the tricks like I was doing, you're definitely going to want these cooldown duration. All right? Hero strike ability, if you added it, then yes, invest those points. It just does you a little bit of good. So those are all the masteries that I would add. Now going back to the inventory, we are going to check out what the numbers look like. And as we can see, hunter damage 360%. That's down, I believe, from the last build, but again, it's because I put a lot of extra stuff. And again, I really think I'm going to be working on a epic gear build, which is going to be kind of hard because you guys are going to have to find the same rolls I find. But if you can do it, you'll be able to do something pretty spectacular, which I'm going to aim for. Now let's see, going down on our damage modifiers. Headshots 265%, that is beautiful. Bow charge shot 40%. Distant targets is 30%. Decent numbers, we could increase those. Weapon modifiers is 30% across the board. That's not bad, but we're really not trying to use anything other than the bow. All right? Now, your critical modifiers, hit chance and hit damage, 30 and 275% respectively. Those are great numbers. Even better, the hit chance and hit damage while full health, 45% and 350% respectively. That is crazy. I really want to see if we could like crank that up. Going down to critical hit chance and damage while low health, those are even better than the regular hit chance and damage, 40% and 325% respectively. Again, those are some great numbers. I really like that. Now, looking at the elements, fire, it's 65% or 60%, which is wild because this is no longer a fire build. But that's the kind of nonsense that we kind of have with this. It's like kind of annoying. Poison damage, 45%, lasting 18 seconds, and the buildup is 260%. So those are still good numbers. All right, as far as defense goes, health bonus 20, armor bonus 150, melee resistance 15, range resistance 23.5, elemental 15, and chance to ignore half damage really doesn't matter, but it's 20%. But again, these are like decent. Now, adrenaline, as you can see, per hit, per crit, 30, 40, 50 on assassination kill, even though we're not an assassin. Headshot kill, 100%. That's really good. Bow charging speed, 20. Movement speed while crouching, 20. Those are not bad numbers. Those are pretty decent. So I'm over here at my favorite track is Fort, and listen, man, you shut up. Everybody follow me. Let's get to the center here. And I actually really don't trust these guys, so I am going to actually set the trap here. Then I'll jump back down. And we'll battle them out. Where is everybody? Alright, so I don't know why I got in this habit where I try to like slow time and do the jump at the same time. I don't know why I do that, just in case, I suppose. So the trick here is you could actually, you know, like fire on them while you're jumping. But one of the things I like to do, here I slow time down, jump up in the air, those guys are poison, aim for the head. There we go, the yellow circle, that is that you gotta wait. There we go, I'm low health. Let's increase that. Time slow down for a quick second. One of the big problems is waiting for like the stuff to come back. Waiting for your adrenaline abilities to come back. It really stinks. But as you saw, like, I could be like on top of a building, leap off, and it would still work the same. The only reason why I'm jumping from the ground level is because I want that extra kind of poison. So there we go. Aim for this guy in the head. Man, I really have to like get back into like the hunter. I haven't been doing a lot of hunter builds lately ever since they got nerfed. But as you can see, like, I mean, it's decent damage. I kind of really do want to do an epic build because I kind of feel like it will increase. Wow, that guy just poisoned that dog for no reason. What did that dog do to you? There we go. That was a nice number right there. Look at that. That was with the Ghost Arrow of Artemis. That was decent. So that's the kind of like destructive power that you would be getting. Again, kind of hard to do it where you're, you know, like trying to be like in their face. That's the other thing with this kind of build. You actually, whenever you're doing this kind of build, I believe what you want to do is you want to be stealthy, and you also want to be able to kind of like jump from like the top, slow time down, and shoot them. You don't want to kind of get in their face like that. Otherwise, you're definitely going to run into trouble. But the adrenaline picks up pretty quick. And you're doing decent numbers. Could do better. Again, like I said, epic build would probably make it even better. Let's test this out on the Conquest Battle, though. So now here we are in a Conquest Battle, and like with all Conquest Battles, you definitely want the multi-shot. Taking out multiple guys at once, which is great. Problem here is that like it kind of runs out quick. And with regular arrows, it kind of looks like we're having like some issues. We're not having a lot of luck where we're getting it to like add on to other people. Yeah, looks like I have another mercenary here. It doesn't look like it wants to give me my vanish either. Well, that was a nice number. Wow. Okay, without like our specialty arrows, this just takes like really long. So this is definitely not a build for, say, being on the conquest field. Unless we do this. Now you're just mowing through people. Well, that's the first time this ability is activated. Well, that guy snuck up. Killing my own people here. Yeah, this is definitely not a conquest build. Not doing as well. We would probably have to actually use the Arrow Master and just switch our arrows to something like fire or poison in order to like get the max effect out of a conquest battle. Other than that, like, it's really not going to be that effective. Again, like, the gimmick is okay. You know, like, doing all that leaping around, like, it's not really a hunter's style to be leaping around all crazy like that and jumping off of buildings and whatnot. But I could see if like you're in a spot where like you could just like jump off of a building and land in a hiding spot, and along the way you take out a couple of people with like these abilities, then I could see like using it. But like you know, doing this is really not something that like you'd find a hunter actually doing. It's kind of wild. So I know a couple of you want to get this set for the cosmetics of it. A couple of you want to get the set because you want to try out the little gimmick and whatnot. And, you know, depending on who you are, more power to you, you know, if you can make it work. Like I said, I'm going to be trying to do this with an epic gear set and see if I can't get something better going on with a little more damage. I'm sure I could. I'll try it out. We'll see. And then maybe I'll use the outfit, the look of it, to make it look like it's still this bird. Anyway, what do you think of it? What do you think of, like, you know, like now being able to use that gimmick, being able to like jump around and stuff like that? Is that your play style? Would you leap off of like buildings and ropes and out of trees and everything like that so that you could shoot a couple of guys in the head? You know, do you think that that's a little more effective that way? Do you think that it's just something fun just to do? Honestly, I would not try that in nightmare mode. It's really most likely not going to work. But for any other mode, if you're just goofing off, then yeah, I could see that. Anyway, like I said, let me know in the comments below. Other than that, I really do hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. It helps the channel out an awful lot. And as always, thank you for watching.